Prime Minister Modi, for the very first time, spoke about population explosion, and this happened last year during his Independence Day speech. This is something that has never been done before by any PM. So, this was one topic which was never touched by any of his predecessors. And this was the very first time that the country came to know that, yes, we are facing a challenge, which is of population explosion. We all realize that, but this is the first time that the Prime Minister of India chose to talk about it. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this video. I am Dikshant, and I will be talking about population explosion and how it can contribute to internal security. Having said that, right now, India's population is close to around 1.37 billion, and people say that we are not even counting anymore. A lot of reports by the UN claim that India will overtake China by 2022. We will talk about that also. Stephen Hawking, a very famous physicist, said that in the last 200 years, the pace at which the world is growing and the pace at which the population of our planet is growing, it is close to around 1.9% per year. And by this particular rate, there will be a time when every 40 years, the population will be doubling. And if this phenomena continues for a very long time, by 2600, we all would be standing literally shoulder to shoulder. The world will look something like this. So let us first try to understand the magnitude of this particular issue by looking at some of the data which is available. So a National Commission on Population, NCP, constituted a group which was known to be Technical Group on Population Projection, and their mandate was to provide population projections for the period of 2011 to 2036. And they have done a very good work. They have shown their reports, and let us look at what the data is saying now. With the help of this particular report, we can see that they expect India's population to grow by 25%. The reference point is 2011, and by that logic, by 2036, the population of our country will increase to around 1.52 billion. This is the graph that is mentioned here. We are sitting in 2021, and right now we are somewhere close to 1.36 or 37 billion people. And by this rate, if this continues, our population will become 1.52 billion by 2036. Now, UN also gave out a report in which they claimed that by 2022, India will be growing exponentially. And by 2022, what will happen is the population of China will get stabilized. Look at this red bars which are mentioned. They tell us about China, and India's graph on the other hand will be increasing. And by 2022, this intersection will happen and India will overtake China. So this is what the data has been given out by the UN. But this particular report, which I'm talking about, the Technical Group on Population Projections, which is under the NCP, which works under the Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, it defies this claim. It says that according to our projections, we understand that we will be overtaking China not in 2022, but somewhere close to a decade later, around 2031. So we should not be proud of that because, it is not something which is going to help us in any way. This particular report also projects that 70% of this increase in population will happen only in the urban areas, which is a big problem. While 31% of the Indians will be living in urban areas in 2011, this number will grow to 39% by 2036, which is again a huge increase. So with that pace, if the population is increasing, the infrastructure, the development, everything has to increase by that rate only. Otherwise, we will not be able to sustain so many people in areas where we don't have resources. In that period, this particular report says that UP and Bihar will be two destinations or two places from where a lot of migration will happen. And this migration will be net out migration. So people from Uttar Pradesh and Bihar will be migrating out to states like Maharashtra, Gujarat, Haryana, and Delhi. So a lot of people will be moving out to these states, and we will see a population explosion happening specifically in these states. And it is important for these states to understand and realize and work on things right now. So infrastructure, all the development activities, all the medical facilities, food security, everything has to be planned now so that we are ready for what is going to happen in the future. Apart from this, this particular report also says that looking at the entire India, maximum rise will be happening in the northern part of India, and the rise in the south will only be marginal. Let us look at this last point. It says that 5 states of Kerala, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, and Tamil Nadu combined will only account to 9% of the growth in population. So maximum growth is going to be happening in states like UP and Bihar. Let us talk about UP. Now, Uttar Pradesh would already be the 8th most populous country in the world if it was a country. So that is the kind of population that UP currently has. And the UP's population will increase to 258 million in 2036, which is an increase of almost 30%. The number is huge. Let's look at Bihar. So they say that Bihar's population will be increasing by more than 40% to 148 million by 2036, which essentially means that people would be actually requiring more and more resources. But are we ready for what is going to happen in the future? That's a big question that is there. We all know, and since we live in India, these pictures and these visuals are very much common for all of us. But try to understand that if the entire country is facing a population explosion, what will our country look like, and how will the resources be divided among all, right? The per capita resources will decrease, and that can create a lot of problems, that can create a lot of issues with respect to economy, with respect to social security, with respect to food security. There are so many aspects which will be affected. What are some of the major causes? Why is this happening in India, and why do we see this particular thing happening just in India? With vis-a-vis, if we look at some of the other countries, the population has somewhat stabilized, but we look at India, we see that there is some kind of ideology or some kind of societal mindset which is still prevalent, and we are not able to control that. What are the major causes? Let us try to understand and decode them one by one. The very first reason is the preference for male child. There is a slogan in Sanskrit which says aputrasya gati nasti. Aputrasya gati nasti. This particular shlok or slogan means that if you are a human being, if you are a person who is a Hindu, if you don't have a son, then you will not be able to attain moksha. Right. So that is the kind of religious ideological mindset that is prevalent in our country. And we look at the number of cases of female feticide, which keep increasing. Right. So if we also look at the sex ratio, we would know that Haryana and Punjab at some point were the worst performing states in our country. But now there has been some improvement that we have seen. Apart from this, the other reason is agriculture. Since more than 50% of the people of our country are dependent directly or indirectly on agriculture, we all understand that agriculture is something that is labor intensive, and people who are illiterate, people who are backward, who are entirely dependent on agriculture, they believe that more hands will mean more efficiency. They do not understand that more hands can also lead to disguised unemployment. And that is where we see that people in rural areas, they try to, make more babies. So that is the kind of scene we have been looking at. Apart from this, the death mortality rate has been consistently decreasing. This actually is a good thing. This actually means that our medical facilities are getting better. Medical sciences, they are doing a good job. Doctors, everybody is doing a great job in trying to reduce the infant mortality rate. So we have seen a steady decline. But what this also means is that the population increase, the birth rates are not decreasing, but the death rates are decreasing, which actually means that population is going to still increase in a positive manner. After that, we all understand that our country literacy rate is not great. Although we claim that in 2011, we claimed that 74% or more than 74% of the Indians are literate. But what actually literacy means in India is that if you're able to write your name in your own regional languages, that would be considered as somebody is literate, right? You just need to put your signatures. That is exactly the definition of literacy in India. Literacy also contributes to the kind of society we have, right? So if we are not literate enough, then we will always be, talking about male child preference. We will be talking about, education of males, and we will not be providing, will not be putting focus on female education also. We will also be lacking in family planning, right? So lack of family planning will also contribute to a rise in population. Since India has always been a country with lack of recreational activities, we also see that also playing a role in the increased population, and the practice of early marriage happens very rampantly in almost all parts of the country. And this gives a bigger window to somebody to produce more and more people, or to produce more and more children. So, right. So all of these combined are some of the major causes which contribute to the population explosion that we are talking about today. What will happen if the population increase? Why are we not taking it seriously? A lot of us do not understand what the issues, population explosion can lead to. Let me talk about a few issues or few effects of population explosion. The first and the foremost being India's economic development. Right now in May 2020, since we have been looking at a pandemic for a very long time now, it's almost been more than 1 year now. So in May last month, the employment rate, it is supposed to be 2021 here. So in May 2021, the unemployment rate increased from 7% to 11.9%. So it is one of the highest rates that we have seen in a very long time. So more and more people now, since they are more population is there, you need to have more employment opportunities, you need to have more resources for them. But since COVID is there, right, pandemic times are here, so we are not able to increase those jobs for these people, and hence the high rate of population is happening, which essentially will mean that if high unemployment is there, it will lead to reduced per capita income, right? Talking about reduced per capita income, recently Bangladesh also overtook India, and India's ranking slipped to 145th position in the list of per capita GDP rank. Now Bangladesh is performing better than India in a lot of rankings in a lot of areas, right? So reduced per capita income, what will happen if the per capita income is reduced? You will have less money, everybody will have less money, and with the less amount of money, he will obviously not be able to provide enough resources for him and his family, right? So that is the kind of situation which is going to happen. And with the increased population, the land holdings have already reduced, and they are going to reduce further. So we will see that at a time when zamindari system was in place, people used to have 10 acres, 15 acres, 20 acres of land. Right now it is not more than even half an acre land which every person holds. Now if a person is holding not even an acre of land, the agricultural output will be low, and that in turn will contribute to the reduced per capita income. So everything is linked, and so that will ultimately result in poverty, and poverty will definitely result in some kind of food security issue, with some kind of undernourishment, right? So directly these two again can be linked. So food security threat, if the population is increasing, we need to have more stocks for them, right? The FCI has to have a proper strategy to be able to feed 1.36 billion people, right? To have a strategy, to have a plan for these many people in case of any disaster, right? So this is also in some way promoting undernourishment, and undernourishment then promotes the reduced productivity. So everything is linked. More number of people, like more exploitation of environment, more exploitation of resources. So then it will also have an adverse effect on the environment. More people will also lead to insufficient infrastructure and increase in crime rates, right? So everything is linked, and which will finally contribute to a subpar standard of living, right? So this is the ultimate effect of population explosion, and we see almost in every sphere of life, almost everybody who is a part of our country will be affected in some or the other way, right? So this is how we try to understand the effects of population explosion. And let me now talk about internal security. Why are we discussing this with respect to internal security? There have been issues in the past which are testimonials to the population explosion. Whenever population explosion happens, there are some threats which can lead to internal security crisis. Let me talk about what happened in Assam. Let's talk about Assam in 1971. When India wanted to liberate Bangladesh and make it a separate country, we wanted East Pakistan to become Bangladesh. At that time, 1971, war broke out with Pakistan. And during that war, we saw that almost 1 crore people on foot migrated from Bangladesh to Assam in search of fertile land, in search of plain land, in search of resources, in search of secure life. 1 crore people migrated from Bangladesh to Assam, and this led to riot situation in Assam for a very long time. There was an Assam agitation which took place from 1979 to 1985. Right. In 1985, Assam Accord was signed, but still this created a huge uproar among the people, and people started talking about that we are natives of this particular area and we want the outsiders to leave this particular country. We have been talking about NRC, CAA. There are so many things that the country is talking about. Apart from this, we can see that regularly there are around 3 lakh people which enter our country by the means of crossing the borders, since our borders are not very well protected. So a lot of places like Myanmar, we see the borders are not very well protected. Bangladesh, the government has done a lot of good work, but still people are able to migrate from Bangladesh to India. And why do people migrate from Bangladesh to India? One of the biggest reasons is that Bangladesh is one country which is very, very, very densely populated, and people want to move out to areas where per capita resources are high. So we see a huge influx of people in that particular area. So this is something which is very common and keeps happening regularly, right? Let me see what is happening. Yeah, so we are back. So these are some of the issues. So this will always, the population explosion will always lead to some kind of riot situation. It can lead to a situation where natives will fight against the outsiders. It can lead to some kind of communal tensions. It can lead to a feeling of regionalism. So what really happened in Assam, the All Assam Student Union, ASU, started saying that we are the sons of this soil and we will not allow anybody else to rule us. We will not allow anybody else to take part in the politics of our region. So we want to be powerful and we want to, make provisions for our people. So we would not allow anybody else to come in and vote in our political system. What exactly happened in Naxalism, right? Since there was lack of development, since there was lack of basic resources, lack of education, lack of infrastructure, since the population of our country has been increasing at such a rate that it is impossible for our government to provide everything to everybody in every corner of the world or in the every corner of the country. This is leading to discontentment. This is leading to marginalization, some kind of economic marginalization or political marginalization, and that is why they took up the path of extremism, and they are now running parallel governments against our own government, right? So these are some of the issues which definitely population explosion definitely contributes here. And simply, if there are more and more people who are now below the poverty line, who are more unemployment will definitely lure people to get into the organized crime. In the organized crime sector, they will be doing some kind of illegal activity. Might be they would be interested to do some kind of smuggling, they would be interested in some kind of sex trade, in some kind of flesh trade, or they would be taking part in some kind of extremist activity or an insurgency. So increased crime will increase if the population is exploding, and increased crime means there will be more illegal money in your system. If there is more illegal money in your system, it will definitely directly be proportional to the amount of money laundering which is going to happen in your country. And if more illegal money, if somebody is able to convert that illegal money very easily to legal money, this will definitely give rise to terrorism. This will definitely give rise to extremism. This will definitely give rise to communal tensions and the feeling of regionalism. So everything is linked, and now it is very important for our country, our government, our people to understand that we need to work on this particular part, and we need to set things right. We need to spread awareness. We need to talk about family planning. Definitely last year the Supreme Court asked the government of India that what plan are you going to, what is going to be your approach to control population explosion, and the government went back that we are not going to take certain steps which other countries like China have taken. We will not be putting a bar on the number of children that we must have, but we will be working on other things like making people aware or imparting them education or telling them that lesser people will lead to more resources, and this can lead to a happy and a fulfilled life. So this is what the government is trying to do. But I hope you were able to get some insights with the help of this video. If you like this video, please share this with your friends and family. And for more such videos, please subscribe to our channel. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next week. Take care and bye-bye.